Come with me for a walk around Pateley Bridge. Pateley Bridge is situated in the centre of Nidderdale, an area of outstanding natural beauty in North Yorkshire, England. Starting from the bridge that the town takes its name from. This red commemorative plaque is here because of the importance of the bridge. The bridge spans the River Nid. The earliest mention of a bridge is 1320. The low wooden bridge was replaced by a stone version in the 18th century and widened early in the 19th century. The River Nid flows through Pateley Bridge in Knaresborough before joining the River Ouse in Nunmonkton near York. This riverside path forms part of the Six Dales Trail. The Six Dale Trail is a 38-mile walk from Otley to Middleham, crossing Six Dales. The only town en route is Pateley Bridge. This sculpture is at the end of Nidderdale Walk. The sculpture is entitled Pillars Past, created by Joseph Ayton, comprising of three figures in a circular formation representing lead mining, agriculture and monastic past that shaped the landscape in and around Pateley Bridge. The sculpture Pillars Past, commissioned by Sistran, forms part of the public art trail Passing Places, which mirrors the long-distance Way of the Roses cycle route between Morecambe and Bridlington. This plaque marks where the railway turntable was. Being a single-track railway, the turntable was a vital piece in the system to enable the engine to be turned round for the return journey to Harrogate. Opposite the sculpture is this pleasant waterfall. Making my way back along Nidderdale Walk, this was once the railway line along here. The North Eastern Railway line to Harrogate was opened on the 1st of May 1862. The main station building is now converted into flats, and the goods sidings were on the opposite side of the High Street. The railway closed for passenger traffic in 1956 and for goods in 1964. In the year 1320, the Archbishop of York granted a charter for a market and fair at Pateley. I'm now at the bottom of Pateley Bridge High Street. All Creatures Great and Small TV series was filmed mostly in the Yorkshire Dales, with many of the Dales scenes filmed around Nidderdale. It's an extremely wet day in wet Pateley Bridge. This is a view looking up the High Street. The walk around Pateley Bridge continues. There's still plenty more to discover in this Yorkshire town. The building in front is the Nidderdale Plus Community Hub. The Nidderdale Plus Community Hub provides tourist information for Nidderdale, community library, office services, and a community car service. A team of volunteers look forward to welcoming you at the busy community hub. There are over 40 volunteers who provide most of the services. Pateley Bridge is the starting and finishing point on the Nidderdale Way, a circular route that covers 53 miles, looping round the stunning scenery of the Nid Valley. Here you can take in some of the spectacular landscape in an area which is renowned for its floral beauty and charm. I've arrived at Courthouse. The Royal Courthouse was built in 1879. Courthouses were established to combat heavy drinking which took place in pubs. The Royal Courthouse was a temperance, hotel and cultural centre. The building has gone through several usages. Since 2005, the Billiard and Snooker Club are the present occupants. The walk around Pateley Bridge continues. I'm now on King Street. The old workhouse was open from 1863 to 1914. During the First World War, it housed German prisoners of war, then navvies, until Courthouse Village was finished. King Street Workshop houses a talented group of artists and designers. Their studios are open and they include jewelers, milliners, textile, art and gifts, sculptures, fine artists and glassblowers. Joseph Hayden is an award-winning stone carver and sculptor. He's the winner of the National Stone Awards 2020. He created the sculpture Pillars Past, featured at the beginning of the walk. The Nidderdale Museum was founded in 1975 by a group of enthusiasts who shared a deep concern for the traditional way of life which they felt was rapidly disappearing after the Second World War. The museum has a large collection illustrating all aspects of life in Nidderdale. It reflects the life of people in an imaginative and realistic setting. There are 11 rooms devoted to religion, leisure, agriculture, industry, transport, costume, an original cobbler's shop, Victorian parlour, general store, and schoolroom, and much more. The museum has been and continues to be entirely run and staffed by volunteers, who were recognised in 2010 by a Harrogate Volunteering Oscar Special Award. In 2017, the museum was presented with the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. St. Cuthbert's Church Tower with a fine blue-faced clock. St. Cuthbert's Church is the parish church of Upper Nidderdale. The church is an early 19th century building which was built to replace the old Church of St Mary's, which fell into disrepair and whose ruin can still be seen on the hillside. The first service at St Cuthbert's was held in 1827. Now standing outside the old Courthouse. Built in 1897 and closed in 1995. The Courthouse was a branch of the Ripon Liberty Court. Adjoining is the police station, erected in the same year when the reservoirs were under construction. At this time, there was an inspector, sergeant and 7 constables. After a Saturday evening drinking spree, navvies were put in cells and had to walk the 11 miles back to Scar House the following day. The walk continues down Church Street to Oddfellows Hall. Erected in 1859 for the Independent Order of Oddfellows, which was a friendly society, very popular amongst miners and quarrymen for providing insurance in case of accidents or illness. The building was popular for concerts until the cinema was opened in 1929. Next to the Oddfellows Hall is the former Primitive Methodist Chapel. The chapel was built in 1859 but was closed in 1933. 3 years later it became the Salvation Army Citadel until 1961. The building remained empty for some time until 1968. The local Pateley Bridge Dramatic Society converted the building into a small theatre named the Playhouse, which remains the building's current use. I'm now walking up Pateley Bridge High Street. This building is the Pateley Club, originally the Georgian Dragon Inn, built in 1664, later known as the George, where Elizabeth Metcalfe started her brewery. In 1889 it closed as an inn and became the brewery manager's house. During most of the 20th century it was a conservative club. In years gone by, it was traditional for the owners of a house to have their initials and date carved into the stone support across the top of the door when the house was built. This building was the former Bradford Old Bank, Pateley Bridge. The Bradford Old Bank Limited, registered in March 1864, later became a branch of Barclays Bank, which is since closed. At the top of the high street is Fox's Head Well. Originally known as Souter Well, it once stood on Ripon Road and served a small group of houses. The attractive canopy was erected in 1859 and moved to its present site in the 1970s. The original Fox's Head is in the Nidderdale Museum. The garden on the corner opposite the Fox's Head Well marks the site of the brewery, which was started in 1773 by Elizabeth Smith, later Metcalfe. The outlines of the walls can still be seen in the ground. Her sons expanded the premises to this site in 1855, and ale was exported to France and Germany. It remained in Metcalfe's hands until the early 20th century, when it was closed. The buildings were demolished in 1963. I'm now walking down Pateley Bridge High Street. In 2016, Pateley Bridge was named the best high street in Great Britain in the village category of the Great British High Street Awards. This award-winning high street looks as though it was designed with postcards in mind. Here you will find locally produced food and drink, gifts and souvenirs, as well as traditional Yorkshire hospitality in cafes, pubs and tea rooms. No visit to the Yorkshire Dales would be complete without a visit to the oldest sweet shop in England for a truly magical and memorable experience. Officially the oldest sweet shop in the world, as validated by Guinness World Records in its publication in 2014. Rows upon rows of glass-filled jars with handmade traditional sweets weighed out by the quarter of a pound into old-fashioned scales. Smell the aroma of sweets as you marvel at the old building dating back to the 1600s. The family-run business has traded since 1827, and the owners are proud of the heritage, and with that comes an unrivaled knowledge of sweets. Featured on numerous TV and radio programs as well as newspapers and magazines, this shop has been described as a national treasure. This is the Talbot, originally the Star Inn from the late 18th century, with stabling for 15 horses. A fire gutted the top story in 1878, but was stopped from spreading further by a chain of quarrymen with buckets of water. Further down the high street is a sign welcoming the 2016 Tour de Yorkshire Stage 1. The bicycle on the wall marks the route of the 2017 Tour de Yorkshire. The custom of placing bicycles along the route of a race seems to have originated with the 2014 Tour de France staged in Yorkshire. The Crown Hotel. Before 1765, Christopher Benson ran a large butter carrying business from the inn. It was rebuilt in 1767 and was the post inn and exercise office. Sypland Outdoors. Originally the King's Arms Hotel from the early 19th century until 1968, and was one of 7 inns on the high street at this time. There is a well in the cellar. This used to be the HSBC Bank until its closure. Tucked away behind the high street is King's Court, a delightful 1850s flower-filled courtyard, formerly the coachyard and stables for the King's Head Hotel. These days the courtyard offers a range of gift shops. I've reached the bottom of the high street, thus ending my walk around Pateley Bridge, a charming and delightful town in God's own county. I can see why Pateley Bridge was listed in both the 2017 and the 2018 Sunday Times report on the best place to live in Northern England.